Hello everybody! It is Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Kathy is going to go check and make sure that everything is flowing well. I see Apple here. Hello Apple. Who else we got?
Tell people when you're sending your gifts out.
Everything look good on your end?
I'm not there yet.
Okay. Oh, I see people coming in. Tanya's here. Gina's here. Hello, everybody. It's good to see you. Hope everybody had a great week.
Yeah, you should be fine. It's going to multiple destinations.
Okay. Kathy's peanut gallery over there in the other room telling me that everything looks fine. Adriana says right now you are coming in loud and clear and the connection is good on YouTube. Thank you very much, and hello. And hello, Lisa. It is Monday. It feels like a Monday today. It was a really busy day, and I don't know how it got so busy, but yeah, it just seemed like we spent the whole day like doing this interview thing, and then once that was over, everything just went really, really fast. But we did get in a walk. We went for a nice, I'm going to call it kind of a sunset walk. The sun had already started to set more than we could see it, but it was still kind of that like part day, part night kind of vibe going on, and the sky looked really cool. And so we walked a couple miles just around the neighborhood and stuff. And Angela is here, and Jeremy is here. Hydran is here. Mona's here. Hello, everyone. So, anyhow, I put in the notes today that I thought it would be nice if we could talk a little bit about the holidays. Because I know some people are like super excited for the holidays. They can't wait for all the stuff going on. And then there's a lot of people who the holidays are really, really hard for. And so, you know, for me, it's kind of an in-between. I like the holidays. I especially like Thanksgiving because I like all the smells and foods and things associated with Thanksgiving. We're going to have a really super busy Thanksgiving week. We have an event every day but Friday now. And so it's going to be a little challenging. They are all vegan events, so that'll be fun. We're going to the Triangle Vegetarian Society, which is basically the Triangle Vegan Society. Pre-Thanksgiving dinner at a local restaurant, and then that's on Monday. On Tuesday, a friend is bringing over some delicious Thanksgiving catering from, is it Govinda's? No?
It's from, it's the Latin American food. You remember we get it?
Oh, yeah, okay. I can't remember.
Jeremy should know. Tell Jeremy.
Jeremy, what's the name of the food that we're going to have on Tuesday? Because I think you might know what that is. And then on Wednesday, we have our annual trek out to Fiction Kitchen in Raleigh, which is kind of like an annual tradition that Kathy and I do, where we go the day before Thanksgiving to Fiction Kitchen so that we can have one of Caroline's exceptional Thanksgiving plates that she does. Although Kathy has said that because we're doing so much Thanksgiving this year, she said, I may go rogue and go off the menu.
Soup and salad, baby. Soup and salad.
She's like, I'm going to hit the soup and salad. She's going to do the farmer's plate. And then Thursday we have the Thanksgiving, the traditional Triangle Vegetarian Society Thanksgiving that is held at the Parasad restaurant in Durham, North Carolina. It is the largest vegan Thanksgiving gathering in the country. You've heard us talk about it before, and we're very excited to be going back to that. And we did have requests from last year where people have said they really enjoyed spending the holidays with us. We set up our camera, we set it at the table, and we kind of have our holiday with you. And we are going to do that again. We will for sure do it at the Triangle Vegetarian Society dinner. We're going to try to do it at every dinner. It may be hard at like Fiction Kitchen just because of table space. I'm not sure what it's going to be like on that Monday dinner, but we're going to take the stuff with us, and if we can do it, we'll stream from those other locations as well. So that should be pretty fun. So anybody that's going to be by themselves on Thanksgiving, tune in with us, and we'll know more later in the week what times we're going to be there. So I think we're going to be there around 11:30 on Thursday, but I'm not sure if we'll start streaming right away. So look in Heartbeat or watch for an email that gives you some times that we might be going live during that week. And that seems like it will be a lot of fun, lots of socializing going on. We're doing more socializing now than we have probably done in 10 years, which is fun and also tiring. Let's see. Adriana says, I didn't quite make it out for a walk today. My sciatica has been acting up pretty bad lately, so I thought I would give it a break today. And you know, that's a really smart thing. You got to listen to your body. So if your body's telling you something doesn't feel good, and you think, well, I can just go do this. Don't push it. If your body is telling you I need a break, take the break. Your body is smart. It knows what it needs. So if it's telling you, hey, I got some owies that I need to heal, just go ahead and listen to your body and just take the rest day. It's okay. You can get back on your feet the next day and just go at it, okay? But give yourself a rest when you need to. And it's very important that you do that. Let's see who else we got. I think I already said Tanya, yeah. Let's see. And Tanya says, how is Luna? I don't know where she went to. They were both right here a minute ago. She was eating out of Fergus's food bowl, and he was just laying there behind her looking at her like, really? Really? You're eating my food? They're still getting along great. They did have a little bit of a scuffle earlier today, or it might have been last night. I can't remember now because everything's just melding together for me. But they had a little scuffle. It was more like a sibling kind of scuffle. Feelings got hurt, but there was no anger or anything like that. It was Fergus going off to pout, and then within 30 minutes, she's back up here running around, walking right past him. He's walking right past her. So, I mean, there's no anger involved in it. It's just like, I think sometimes he might play too hard for her a little bit because he's always been likes to pop. Like he used to do that. He would try to play with Max, and he would chase Max down the hallway on his hind legs and just kind of go like this at Max and touch his butt, and Max would just freak out. And so he's kind of doing that with her now. He's kind of playing a little slappy with his hand. So we kind of had to tell him today he needed to kind of back off at one point because she turned around and hissed at him. We were like, you guys need to work it out. You don't need to play that hard. And then everybody went to their corner and pouted, and then 20 minutes later, they're both on the floor playing and chasing each other around again. So, yeah, it just feels like sibling stuff. And it's moving so quickly. We never imagined that they would integrate this quickly. And so, we keep watching to make sure that we don't have to, separate them out again or anything like that. But so far, we haven't had to. It's been really, really great. And we are really enjoying her. She's goofy. Let's see. And Adriana says, I like the normal lately, not doing much for the holidays since it's mostly just me and my boyfriend. My mom and dad are off on their own with their own plans. Yeah, that's kind of me. We used to do these huge family things, but then as as the younger cousins and stuff all started getting married and having their own families and all that kind of stuff, it just started getting to be less and less of a whole family affair. And now everybody just kind of does their own thing, so we don't, have the huge things. And my mom and dad usually do stuff with their friends. They take turns hosting each other for holiday parties and stuff. And, they're always doing something silly, playing cards or dominoes or something like that. That would just make my eyes roll back in my head. And so, yeah, I'm glad I'm not there doing that. Mary Ellen is here. Brandy is here. Gina says, looking forward to spending Thanksgiving with you if you stream again this year. Yes, and we're definitely planning on that. Let's see. Roxy is here. Helen is here. Elizabeth is here. Elizabeth says, that's so nice of you guys to include people that don't have anything to do on Thanksgiving. And, we'll probably do the same thing at Christmas too. I mean, we were thinking about it. I know last year we did this huge, I think it was Christmas Eve thing that we did. But, we'll spend a couple hours probably touching base with everybody and just having a space for people to come on and do things even through Christmas. So, yeah, we really enjoy having everybody, and we love the interaction with folks and stuff. It makes us feel like our family is there with us, because you guys are our family. Monique is here. And Sandy says videos, we need videos. Yes, I do need to have some more video type stuff of them playing. I think I might actually have gotten a video when Fergus first started playing with the laser thing that for months. I bought this thing for him for months ago, and he absolutely refused to play with it. It's just this little thing, looks like a cat head. And you put batteries in it, and it has a laser pointer, but you can set it for different speeds and stuff, and it just kind of goes around. And he would just look at it like, are you serious? You really want me to play with that? But then she started playing with it, and he's like, oh, I'm all about it now. And then she went to go to sleep one time, and he came out from underneath the chair and started batting it around and stuff. And I got some of that on video, so maybe I'll mix some things together and put it up online for you guys to see. Yeah. Thank you, Jeremy. Soul Cochina. That is what we're doing on Tuesday. I couldn't remember what the name of it was, but yeah, that's Soul Cochina. And we usually get stuff from them at the farmer's market, so it's really, really good. And it looks like a good menu. Let's see. And Carol is here.
Soul Cochina.
Yeah.
Did he already say it?
Yeah, he already said it. Okay. Peanut Gallery over here. And Carol Carr says, we don't have Thanksgiving in Oz. I wish we did. It seems like a good thing to just stop for a while and be grateful.
You can do that any day.
Yeah, you can do that any day. You can just make your own little Thanksgiving thing up. You can just, figure out what foods you like to have traditionally and just pick a day and get together with your friends, and that's the food that you have. I think traditionally here it's a big day, as it always has been in my family, for turkey and ham, and then sweet potato casserole, green bean casserole, mashed potatoes. What am I missing? Collards. Oh, just all sorts of stuff, and gravy. Oh, and what's the?
Sweet potato casserole.
I said sweet potato casserole. The other thing that you like? Oh, cranberry sauce. Cranberry sauce, and there's this big running all the time. You'll hear people in the U.S. having debates on whether it's better from the can or if it's better if it's homemade, and there's definitely two camps on that. Let's see. Vegana is here and says, howdy, did I just hear you'll be streaming during Thanksgiving? Yes, we will. We will be back streaming during Thanksgiving. If you missed it, we have an event every day that week except for Friday. And so we're definitely going to stream on Thursday because we know for sure we can do that because we did it last year easily. We're not sure about Monday or Wednesday. Tuesday we probably can do a little something from the house here. But Monday and Wednesday are the ones that are going to be kind of up in the air about whether we can actually do anything from there. So we'll see how that goes.
If we can't go live, we can give them we'll put up a video.
And Kathy says if we can't go live, we'll make a quick video and we'll put it up for you guys to see everything. And Tanya says, we don't do much either anymore for holidays. I do miss it sometimes, but I like the quiet too. I try to host my sister's family. We don't eat there much because I'm the weird vegan to them all. You know, the great thing about Thanksgiving is, like, I feel like you can make any of those traditional sides vegan, and they wouldn't be any of the wiser of it, right? Just they can have their turkey and you can have all the sides, and I think everybody would be really happy. And you're not weird, Tanya. Let's see. And Vegana says, I watched all your holiday streams last year. I live alone and y'all kept me company. That's awesome. And we're going to do it again. And I said, Kathy, that we're going to do all the holidays again too. Like, we'll do some Christmas too, like we did last year.
We should be able to do it somewhere.
Yeah, we don't know where we're going to be at Christmas, but we will, wherever we're at Christmas, we will do that.
This Christmas Eve, we may be driving.
Yeah, Christmas Eve, we may be driving. It's an unknown. We may sit with you from a rest area while we have a snack in the car or something. But it's up in the air. We might go to my parents, so it depends. If we go to my parents, we wouldn't be able to stream as long because they don't have the greatest internet at all, and I don't know how they could. I don't think they'll be. They're too shy to get on camera and stuff.
And we can't show what they're eating.
Yeah, and we can't show what they're eating.
They're not going to be eating vegan.
Yeah, I can tell you right now that they're not going to be eating vegan because Mom has probably already bought kielbasa, and she's probably already bought turkey and ham and all that stuff, and so that's, yeah, we still can't get them to. But you know what? Like I said before, I am just happy that they're drinking oat milk now and not arguing about it. And they bought a hybrid car, and they were happy about it. So, you know, I figure we're making some ways in with those two things. And I'm trying to think what else we can leave at their house that my dad will eat and then decide that they can have that all the time. So, let's see. And Tanya says they do gobble up and rave about her food and ask for recipes. And that's right, man, because it's good stuff. And Mona says, I would love a Christmas video. It's the hardest one for me to get through. And we definitely are going to do something. Like I said, it's just, we just don't know how long it's going to go on.
For home, we'll do it.
And Tanya says, I'm not actually really looking forward to Christmas. And, you know, that's what there's a lot of people who aren't looking forward to these holidays. And so I was hoping that you, with all your collective wisdom, could kind of throw out some tips and tricks that you do to kind of help you get through. Like do you visit with friends? What do you do? Do you have a tradition that you like to do? One of the things that Kathy and I like to do for the holidays, when we start feeling a little bit of pressure of all the work that has to be done and all the things for the holidays, we'll start turning on the Hallmark movies, which used to make me crazy, but now I kind of understand their purpose. And some of them are really funny, like, what's the one that I like? The Christmas Switch? Christmas Switch?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like Trading Places kind of thing with somebody's like a baker and the other one's a princess, and they switch places because they look alike kind of thing. Kind of the old Disney methodology on that. But it's really funny. And there's 3?
Yeah.
There's 3. It's Princess Switch, not Christmas Switch. Princess Switch.
The first one's kind of normal.
Yeah, the first one's kind of your normal, Hallmark
Formula.
pattern. It's got the normal Hallmark formula. that you're always looking for, right? That they kind of base everything on. And then the second one kind of does, but then they introduce a little bit of like funny stuff, like a crazy cousin that looks like the two of them too. So now you got three of them switching places, which is hilarious. And then in the third one we laughed so hard because it was like a Hallmark movie meets Raiders of the Lost Ark or something like that. I mean, it was just insane, and we laughed so hard through that one. And I think we watched those on Netflix,
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah.
And this year we're already well into watching our holiday shows. In the past week or two, we've seen like 3, I think, already. And Netflix has some that are starting up. And, everyone that we've seen so far has actually been really, really good. They kind of stray a little bit from the formula, but it kind of all works out. So I highly recommend watching some of those. Today we saw Christmas in Nottingham, or something like that. And then we saw another one, and it was a Christmas at Biltmore. And that was really cute. We liked that one. We just kind of wanted to see Biltmore stuff, but it actually had a great storyline, and it was fun. The one that we're holding off for the weekend is called Hot Frosty. Hot Frosty. And the previews...
Oh! She's greeting him outside the litter box.
Oh, uh-oh. You might get to see her. She might roam... Oh!
I don't know if she'll come up on the counter. She's back there.
I'm trying to figure out which way to move so they can see her.
Is she on the chair?
No, now she's coming around this way. Okay. Sorry, guys. I thought you were going to get to see her. We can't pick her up yet. She gets really freaked out if
She'll just jump.
if 4 paws are not on the ground. So, but she's doing good. She'll probably make an appearance at some point. She'll get curious as to what I'm doing. But yeah, anyhow, that is one of the things that we do is we watch the silly movies and just kind of get out of our way a little bit, right? Sometimes you got to get out of your way so that you can rest up, heal, and get ready for the next thing, right? Just kind of get out your way. All right. Who else we got? Roxy's here. Deborah Carr is here. Doris is here. Oh, yeah, and Elizabeth, thank you so much. She said, don't forget the stuffing. And we cannot forget the stuffing because that is, to me, one of the greatest parts of it. It's so good. I love stuffing. And we've even, since Kathy's not on the gluten train, she's made us some pretty awesome gluten-free stuffing as well. And Apple says, my new TV just arrived. I haven't had one since 1983, and that is not a typo. Wow.
That's awesome.
Wow, wow, wow. Wow. I can't imagine because, I kind of went through a phase where I was kind of addicted to TVs, upgrading them. Every time, there was that period of time where all of a sudden bigger TVs started getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And so I would just keep upgrading until Kathy put her foot down and was like, no more TVs. So we do have an abundance of TVs. Jeremy says lettuce with mandarins and not cottage cheese. I liked them with cottage cheese when they had the cottage cheese and the mandarins on there. Stacy says I like both canned and homemade cranberry sauce. Let's see. And Monique says, it sounds like the same food we have at Thanksgiving in Canada, certainly the collard greens. And Lisa says, wow, Apple, that's a long time without a TV. Yeah, I just can't imagine. And Vegana says, I want to do a cook along if Kathy's making cranberry sauce on Thursday. I just need to know what to get.
I won't be cooking on Thursday.
Yeah, Kathy won't be cooking on Thursday.
But I do have at plantbasedinstantpot.com. I have a cranberry sauce recipe.
She does have a cranberry sauce recipe
I'll try and put it
at plantbasedinstantpot.com. She says she'll try to put it up in a little bit. All right. And see, Angela is saying the traditional Brooklyn-based Italian Thanksgiving consists of lasagna, turkey, pastries, candies, nuts, fennel, espresso, and anisette.
These little licorice.
Oh, okay. And she says, talk about acid reflux. Yeah. One time when I was younger, when I was living in Myrtle Beach, and I worked in a hotel, and one of the girls that I worked with was Italian. And her husband was like from Italy as well. And they both worked in the hotel as well. And so none of us went home for Thanksgiving that year. And she was like, I'm going to make this big 7-course Italian Thanksgiving for everybody. And I remember like by the second or third course, all of us were just going, oh my God, I cannot eat anymore. Because she just made so much food, and but she was so happy in the kitchen, and she was just cooking and cooking, and they were singing and cooking, and I was like, wow. And it kind of reminded me a little bit when I was growing up, when we would have Thanksgiving, like at my grandma's house in the Polish neighborhood, and they would dance all around the house. They would polka, and they'd have polka music playing, and they would be, cooking the turkey and slicing up the ham and doing all that stuff and making mashed potatoes. And they would sing and dance and laugh, and it was all my older aunts and stuff and they all had really thick accents, and so it was really fun to be around them when they were like that. Let's see. Video 1000 Night says, I went to a good vegan potluck last night. Wow, that's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We actually went to the Plant Pure Pod get together was this weekend, and instead of being a potluck this weekend, 2 of the members actually made all the food and cooked it for us there, showing us all their little tricks that they do for making breakfast. And they made homemade just egg, which was made out of just mung beans, and it was delicious. The little things that they made this little like breakfast sandwich where they took the homemade just egg, and then they put some greens like spinach and some roasted red peppers in there and stuff, and and then kind of closed it like a little omelet, and then put it on a piece of bread, and it was delicious. Like lots of good tips and tricks that we learned. And I have to edit that video actually and get that up for the pod people soon. And Diane is here. Hello, Diane. And Janet is saying New Year's also, possibly, very possibly that we could do something, probably New Year. We'll do some cooking on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Yeah, Kathy says definitely we'll do some cooking. All right. Looking at all these. Vegana says, I don't get the Hallmark Christmas movies. They just seem cheesy to me. Maybe this year I'll give them a try. The cheesy is the thing. Okay? So I, for years and years, refused to watch these things with Kathy. I was like, please, please, please just watch that while I'm at work, because I do not want to have to watch these. They're absolutely stupid. I do not like those movies. They're too cheesy. And then I fought it and fought it and fought it. And then she set me down in front of the Princess Switch. And she was like, you got to trust me on this. You just got to trust me. And I was like, yeah, okay. And I was just reluctantly watching it. And by the end, I was like, oh, that was really cute. And then she said, and now there's another one. And then we watched another one. And then by the end of the second one, I was kind of hooked. And now I kind of... They really just, they're so cheesy that's the whole thing, that they just like, I can't even explain it. Kathy, can can you figure the word for me that like?
I'm trying to think. Like, what was the Australian comedy, or was it New Zealand with the ladies?
Oh, Kath and Kim.
Yeah, it's the equivalent to Kath and Kim. Kath and Kim are so funny because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah. So if you guys are familiar with, I think it's either an Australian or New Zealand show. I'm pretty sure it's Australian. Kath and Kim. Okay, they're ridiculous. They're hilarious. I mean, the show is it just pokes fun so bad at everything. But you cannot watch it and not just sit there and laugh hysterically, because they do things that like they come out speed walking in. You remember from the 80s when everybody had the loud track suits and then everybody was doing the whole butt shake speed walking thing. They do that. And it's hilarious. So it gives us the same kind of joy. We watch the Hallmark movies with the same kind of fun that we watch like Kath and Kim or something like that. So it's just like, in a way, I feel like in recent years they have actually made them to be ridiculous. And there was even one we watched last year, and I think Kathy mentioned it a couple times, and I cannot remember the name of it, but it was specifically made to poke fun at the formula of the Hallmark movies. And it was a complete spoofy knockoff. And if you weren't really paying attention, you wouldn't really realize it. You would just be watching it, and all of a sudden they would say something, and you would be like, and then that's the point where you realize this is just a knockoff of things. And then it just got funnier and funnier from then. And we just really, really had a great time. So the cheesy is it. Tanya says, have you seen Spirited with Ryan Reynolds? Yes, we watched that last year, didn't we? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really, really good. We like that one.
There's new Hallmark movies from 2023 on Netflix. So if you don't have Hallmark, you have Netflix. That's
right.
what we've been watching.
Right, and I was telling them that we were watching them on Netflix.
But it's 2023
Hallmark
movies.
Kathy says what's on Netflix right now. She's in her pajamas, or she would be over here talking. What's on Netflix right now are like the 2023 movies that were on Hallmark Channel. So if you don't have the Hallmark Channel, no fear, Netflix has got you covered. Let's see. Apple says, you've got to watch Last Christmas. Seriously, the soundtrack is all Wham songs and the story is wonderful, directed by Emma Thompson. She's in it too. Didn't we watch that?
Was that from last year?
Was that from last year, Apple? Because I feel like we watched that. Because I'm a huge Wham fan.
I think we did.
And that is one of my absolute favorite songs. And not to scare anybody, but there was a time when I would do karaoke and I would sing Last Christmas. And it was not pretty, but just so you know, I'm a Wham fan.
Yes, it had the guy in it from...
And Sandy says, what were those three called? Those are the Princess Switch movies. And
I'll see if I can find
she's going to see if she can find out where they're at now. I know we had told somebody about it before, but it was not during Christmas season that they were trying to watch them, and so they were having a hard time finding them anywhere. And Vegana says, I love Netflix's Klaus. It's so sweet. Okay, so that's another one we could put on ours. And Elizabeth says, I just watched Love Actually yesterday. Such a tearjerker. One of those ones I watch every year. I have not watched that in years. Maybe we should put that on the list, because a lot of people watch that every year. All right. And Diane says, for Thanksgiving, we will be going to my friend's home, a potluck that is set up with the one side vegan and the other side non-vegan. I plan to bring Miyoko's pumpkin bread pudding. Simple and easy. That sounds delicious. And if you're going to a function where you have non-vegan people, what do I always tell you, folks? Get yours first, because I guarantee you they're going to go, ooh, pumpkin bread pudding, and then it's going to be gone. Because at that point in time, you could tell them they've got it in their mouth already, and you tell them it's vegan, it's too late because it's a sweet, and they're going to want it. So make sure you get yours first. All right. And Tanya says, I bawled my eyes out when George Michael died on Christmas too. In 2016, I remember it well. That was a sad day for a lot of us. Because it's just too soon. It was too soon for him. He still had a lot of career left, even though he got himself in some trouble and stuff. But he was cleaning his act up, and boom, right? I kind of feel the same way about Freddie Mercury. I mean, gone too soon. Can you imagine had Freddie Mercury still be alive today, what in a different, like how different music may have been? Like how things may have been different just because fantastic songwriter, amazing, great collaborations with other artists. I mean, come on, right? That, I just can't imagine some of the things that he would have been involved in. And Monique says, I watch Christmas shows all year. It keeps me in the spirit. And Diane says, I love your cat. She's beautiful. Thank you. And Gina says, there are always Charlie Brown Thanksgiving and Christmas. Tons of great holiday movies from It's a Wonderful Life to The Santa Claus and Rudolph to Santa Claus is Coming to Town. I love those old ones. I still like, when I watch them, I kind of giggle because I can remember, like, you know, being somewhere 6 to 8 years old and you got your footy pajamas on and you're in front of the TV and you're watching those. And then somebody hands you a little hot chocolate or something and you're just kind of all cozy in front of the TV watching them. And I think it might be Santa Claus is Coming to Town that has my favorite character in it, but I'm not positive because I always get it messed up with something else. But I love Heat Miser. Heat Miser is my favorite from when I was a kid. My mom, every time it would get close to Christmas time, she would be like, oh no, because I would start singing that song and I would laugh about it and she would just shake her head. But yeah, I love the Heat Miser. I actually have tiki mugs of Heat Miser and Cold Miser that we bust out at Christmas time. So those are a lot of fun. And I also like Rudolph with the dentist and Bumble. Is it Bumble? Yeah. Sometimes we call Fergus Bumble because he just, I don't know, there's just something that he does, like he's just some of his little goofiness. So we'll call him Bumble when he's goofing around the house. Let's see. And Gina says, Bowie and George Michael were hard. Yeah, Bowie was hard too. And Vigana says, It's a Wonderful Life is my absolute must Christmas Eve with yucca and pigeon peas rice soup. That sounds very, very interesting. And we're having some TV conversation. And Sandra says, I haven't had a TV since the early 80s either. I do watch films on the desktop though. And Apple was saying, I watch films and shows on streaming services on my little laptop and I wanted to upgrade to a bigger screen. Yeah. The older I get, the bigger screen I want. But I don't think we can get anything bigger than what we have because then we would have to buy a new TV stand and I'm not in for that because we don't need any. Kathy's over here giving me the look. I wish y'all could see the look.
It's the library.
It's the mean. It's like the librarian look when you've been too loud in the library, right? And she's like, "We're not getting any more TVs." She's very just matter of fact with the look. And Ozziara says, 1983, some of these kids weren't even born. It's true. Kathy put up the cranberry sauce recipe link in the chat, guys. So if you want to go look through the chat, you'll see where that it's on Plant-Based Instant Pot, and you can get that cranberry sauce recipe. Da, da, da. And Gina said, I didn't have a TV for 20 years, but streaming movies got me too. Also shows like Ted Lasso. I just love Ted Lasso. That's such a fun show. I don't know, just something about, and the way they all interact together, it's just reminds me of like the good TV sitcom days, you know, where everybody's interaction. It was very, very fun. Let's see. And Brandy is asking how you are, Kathy. Let's see.
I said sleepy.
You said sleepy. She's sleepy. Gina says, my holidays were making tamales with the whole family. Those were great times.
I have oil-free tamales.
And Vigana is saying, I would love to watch that Biltmore special you mentioned. Was that on live TV or is it available for streaming? So it was another like Hallmark type movie called Christmas at Biltmore. And it's very fun. There was a movie that was really popular in the 80s called Somewhere in Time that had Christopher Reeve, and I can't remember the lady that was in it, but it was actually filmed on Mackinac Island in Michigan and at the lodge there. It was a great movie, really, really good. Had a little kind of time travel stuff in it. So if you like Somewhere in Time, you will love Christmas at Biltmore. That's all I'm going to say. It was really, really good, though. And it's kind of funny. You know, it's got this really good supporting character lady who's just really, really cute and funny. And I highly recommend it. And we saw that on Netflix. All right. And Angelo's saying the cheesier the better. Obs is here. Hey, Obs, how are you doing? I wonder, I haven't talked to you in a while. Have you got settled all into the new place and all? Would love to see you guys. We really need to try to plan a little trip and stop by and say hey. Trying to get through it. I'm just getting through the comments, make sure I haven't missed anything important. I think I missed something. Here we go. Apple says, I like the cheesy movies because they're predictable and low load for my nervous system and brain. They're soothing, which absolutely explains why they calm us down, right? Because everybody knows Kathy and I's brains go all over the place. And having something like that we can just sit down and enjoy and just kind of like puts us in, right? We're just in the zone of relaxation compared to when I watch like Marvel shows or I do like, you know, all the Jurassic Parks in one day kind of thing. Those kind of like keep you kind of like this because of the excitement and the loud music. So these are like the complete opposite of that. But there is place in your holiday for all of those things. There are some Christmas movies that a lot of people like to watch all the time. I still haven't gotten Kathy on board with my old tradition of watching Christmas Vacation. She tries and she's just like, this is just too much. Which is funny when we're talking about Hallmark movies over here. And she can get through those cheesy things, but she cannot get through Chevy Chase cheesy.
I don't make you watch the same Hallmark movie every year.
It's true. She does not make me watch the same Hallmark
The
movie
only
every
ones
year.
we watch are the good ones if we rewatch them.
And I'll watch The Grinch. And I'll watch Elf and Santa Claus. And
Tell them the time we watched Santa Claus is Coming to Town. I don't know what I just...
Santa Claus is coming to town.
The old one, it's weird and creepy. Like
Oh.
it says, I'll give you a toy if you sit on my lap. It's so creepy. But
So-
it wasn't creepy when we were young.
So Kathy was talking about the old movies that we were talking about earlier that I said that I like, like Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and she was saying like rewatching those as an adult, they're kind of disturbing, just because just some of the way things are worded and things like that seem inappropriate for children when you listen to them now. But when we were kids, like it all just went over our head and we didn't even think about it. But yeah. There's been a couple of old shows we've watched like that where we're watching and all of a sudden Kathy just goes, oh! It's really funny when that happens. And let's see. Yeah, Apple, you're going to really enjoy seeing those on a bigger screen. All right. And Kitty Mommy says, I haven't seen Kath and Kim, but in the last episode of Drag Race Down Under, a couple of the queens did the characters on Snatch Game. It was hilarious, and I don't even know Kath and Kim. Oh my God, I must go watch that immediately when this is over. Yeah, if you can find Kath and Kim, I'm trying to think. I think we might have saw Kath and Kim on Netflix. It was either Netflix or Hulu had Kath and Kim. Maybe it was Amazon. I don't know. Just try to find Kath and Kim because you will just roll, because those characters that they play are just like, they are so funny. And Gina says, I'm definitely going to be coming back to the chat to write down all these great movies. Doo-doo. And Tanya says, if you got Chef AJ's Sweet Indulgence book, make the frozen Snickers pie. It's so amazing. Oh, I remember reading that when I was a kid. And I never knew how to pronounce that name. Is it Rawl, and Beatrix? The Tale of the Curious Mouse last night. A very sweet fictional musing of Roald Dahl and Beatrix Potter meeting at Christmas time. I remember there was, I can't remember the name of the book that Roald Dahl wrote that I loved so much. Was it James and the Giant Peach, maybe? Or am I thinking about somebody else? But I remember having several of those when I was probably, I don't know, 4th, 5th grade, 3rd grade, something like that, and I really, really liked them. And Serenity Bloom says The Bishop's Wife with Cary Grant's newer version, The Preacher's Wife with Denzel and Whitney Houston. Excellent stories. Bring your tissues. Oh, I didn't realize that was a knockoff of the older movie. That's interesting. I may have to watch that. And Vegana says, I bawled like a baby when Prince died. That was a hard day for everyone too, I really think. I remember seeing Prince in concert, and I think it was probably one of the most magnificent concerts that I had ever been to in my life. And that says a lot, because up until that point, it was always Elton John. And Apple says, heat miser, me too. Will you go get my heat miser and my cold miser for me? Kathy came up to get her medicine, and I'm sending her on errands now. The heat miser is my hair icon, right? Every time I talk, Kathy's like, oh, you should get your hair dyed. You should get your hair dyed. And every time there's a part of me that goes, I could do it like Heat Miser and just spike my hair all up.
I've got both.
Because my hair will spike, y'all. It'll spike. If I want it to, it'll spike. All right. Cold Miser. Right? I can't turn it right. Okay. And Heat Miser.
Maybe we need to make mocktails for Christmas.
Maybe, yeah, Kathy says maybe for Christmas we'll make mocktails in our little, they're tiki mugs, right? And they're from a company called Geeky Tikis. And I have a lot of the Geeky Tikis. We have real tikis too that we get from places, but I have a little soft spot in my heart for Geeky Tikis. I have a whole bunch of Star Wars Geeky Tikis. I have the elusive Jabba the Hutt Geeky Tiki. That's like a more than one person drink thing. It's this giant thing that looks like Jabba the Hutt. It's like, yeah. So I don't know if everybody knows, but we collect tikis. And so these are just some of our holiday tiki collection that we have. And I love them. They're so fun. I love them, love them, love them. And KDL says, Heat Miser is on the year without a Santa Claus. Thank you. Because I always get that messed up with Santa Claus is coming to town. And Jeremy says, you might as well come on the show, Kathy. She is downstairs attempting to go to bed right now. Thank you, Monique. She said, I build a great visual with my jammies and the TV and hot chocolate. Yeah. And, basically, I looked exactly like I do now, except I was a little skinnier and a little shorter. That's pretty much it. I don't think my face has really changed that much since I was a small child, really. And Tanya said Hermie wanted to be a dentist. And Sylvia's here. This is Sylvia's first time. Hello, welcome. We are glad to have you here. I love, love, love your icon. Ms. Crab is here. You are not late. You are just on time. And thank you, Apple, for putting a link to the Heat Miser song, because now I will terrorize Kathy with that by singing it every day. I will too. I will bother her with it. Yeah, Ted Lasso is low stress and happy. Ms. Crab loved Christmas at Biltmore. Okay, it was Jane Seymour. Thank you, Gina and Ms. Crab, about Jane Seymour being in Somewhere in Time. I could not remember who it was. Thank you. Oh, wow. So Apple's weird trivia for today is my younger sister was Jane Seymour's nanny for a few years. That's wild. Wild, wild, wild. And it just goes to show you like it's such a small world, right? And Kathy said good night to everyone. Susan Winslow says, I love Christmas in Handcuffs. Does anyone know that one? So cute. I don't know that one. I would love to have more information on that. A lot of people know about it, though. And Gina's talking about the house from A Christmas Story, and she was saying that it even had the leg lamp. So you can buy those leg lamps, right? And My parents were living in Ohio in, God, I can't even remember the name of that town now. It's right outside Cleveland. Starts with an M. There's somebody on here who's from there. I don't know why I can't remember it. They only lived there for a couple years. The house next door had one of those, it was like a tall 2-story and had one of those windows up at the top above the front door kind of thing that was kind of like a triangular shape or something like that. And every Christmas they would put the light up leg lamp up in that window, and it was so funny. I could always tell where my parents' house was because I was like, oh yeah, it's next to the leg lamp. All right. Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, I think, is probably the books that I got first. And then I got James and the Giant Peach. Yes, I love, love, love those books when I was a kid. Let's see. Oh, Apple, you are after my heart today. Apple had a Bay City Rollers drum kit and a plaid outfit. Okay. Me in the Bay City Rollers. Oh my God, Lisa, I can't believe you saw the Bay City Rollers. I never got to see the Bay City Rollers, and I was so upset about that. My older cousins, they were all like 4 years older than me, 4 to 6 years older than me. And they all got to go see the Bay City Rollers. And they were in like Ann Arbor or someplace like that. And I was stuck staying at my grandmother's house with my grandmother because I wasn't old enough to go with them to the concert. And I was so sad because they had all the records and I would play all the records all the time. And I just, and I was so disappointed that they all got to go and they all had their little tartan on and their plaid. And I just was sitting at home pouting. So crushing. But then I think I probably was just as mean when I became the oldest of our bunch. So I would go places and say, you can't go because you're too little. And that was kind of mean, but I love that you had the drum kit because I wanted that so bad. And he kind of says, I want to see y'all mug and tiki cup collection. It's huge. And we only have pieces of it out at a time. And then there's more downstairs, right? So maybe at some point we'll do a little walking tour of all the tiki mugs. Y'all all had really cool first concerts. I just want to say that. Y'all's parents were cool. Every time I wanted to go to a concert, and mind you, it was the 80s. And every time I wanted to go to a concert, it was some like head-banging, loud, Judas Priest kind of loud thing. And my parents were always like, no. You're not going to that. No. And I finally got to go to my first concert without adults. At least I thought it was without adults and found out later that actually my friend's parents were there, but we just didn't know it. We were allowed to go see Hall & Oates on their H2O tour. And that was our tester concert to see if we could behave and stay where we were supposed to stay and not just go, yeah, we're not listening to you and go do whatever. And we did what we were supposed to, and we behaved. And so the next time we asked to go to a concert, we were allowed to go to the concert, and it was a Loverboy concert. I know some of you Canadians will know who I'm talking about if some of the rest of you do not remember. I was a huge Loverboy fan. Such a huge love, and all the girls in my class were all also obsessed with Loverboy. And so we would go to every concert that was within a 2-hour drive of where we lived. If we knew they were coming, we would go. And it was, we were kind of like little groupies, like, little 16-year-old groupies going around. It's just crazy. Oh, wow. Apple's first concert by herself was The Clash. That's crazy. Oh my goodness. That's impressive. That is impressive. And Sandy says, not Christmas, but when I need to escape, I love What About Bob? I think I've seen that. I can't remember. But it sounds very familiar to me. Oh, and the other one that is hilarious that you guys need to watch, that we try to watch every Christmas, is called Potterville. And it's hilarious. It just chaos ensues, and it's just really funny. All right, I'm trying to get through these. Medina, thank you, Vegana. It is Medina. That is where my parents were living for a short time, outside of Cleveland. Thank you. You would think I would know that, being that, I always laugh about we started out here and then they came and went and they made a big circle and then they went back up to Ohio and then we're like, yeah, no, we really didn't like it. And then they left and went to Florida. So actually they actually were going to go to North Carolina to live, or South Carolina. Was it? No, it was North Carolina. It was right over the South Carolina line, right outside of Myrtle Beach. They bought a house, and that's where they were actually moving to when they left Ohio. My dad retired, and they had bought this house, and they were going to move down. And I thought, well, that's nice. They'll still be far enough away that they can't just pop in unannounced and stuff like that. And then my dad's friends were down in Florida, and they were like, hey, we could really use some help where we're at. And he came out of retirement again and went down there. And they just loved it so much that they actually ended up selling the house in North Carolina and moving to Florida permanently. So that's how they got there. And they love it there. So they complain about how hot it is. And I'm like, well, you could have went to North Carolina. And Dad's like, well, there's not much difference now. And I'm like, it's true, there isn't much difference now. But, don't complain about how hot it is when you're the one that wanted to go there. All right. And Lisa says, my mom took my two friends and I to see the Bay City Rollers when I was about 9 or 10. Yeah. I think I was probably, I was 11 or 12. Well, maybe 12 or 13 when they went, and they wouldn't let me go. I was very disappointed in that. And Apple says, I feel, I was too young to go see them too. They were awesome though, weren't they? Remember they were like, didn't they do like some cameos on like some kids' morning shows and stuff too? And I mean, like everybody was just all like the Tiger Beat and the Teen Beat and all those magazines. They were just covered in Bay City Roller stuff. It was funny that I remember all that, and the posters in the magazines that you could put on your walls and stuff. It was crazy. Wow. Brandy, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that you're all in the Mama Tot and Charles stuff. There is so much drama on TikTok. It's like its own reality show in the making over there. There's just always something that everybody's like, oh, did you hear about blah, blah, blah? And then everybody starts talking about it. And it's so crazy. Oh, Sandy's first concerts were Heart and Eagles. That's amazing. Wow. And Serenity Bloom says, yes, I was a headbanger. White Snake, Motley Crue. I saw Motley Crue several times. I did see Judas Priest. I snuck to that concert. How I didn't get caught, I don't know, because I couldn't hear properly for 2 days afterwards because we pushed our way down to the front and I was right by a set of like speakers right there. And I don't know how I still have any hearing at all. Some of the stuff that I went to as a teenager. God. And who else Def Leppard. That was a good one. Oh my gosh. And I can't even remember who opened for Def Leppard. I can't remember. But, I mean, there were just so many. And they were all kind of traveling together. Like, they would swap who was opening for who and stuff. It was like a crazy time. And the concert tickets were so cheap back then. Oh, my God. Like, you could, like, I think when we went and saw the H2O tour, like, we were in, like, the general admission things. And, like, the general admission ticket was probably, like, $18 or $20. Right? And I just would love that. Wasn't Loverboy in Footloose? Possibly. I think some of their music was in a lot of stuff back then. Let's see. Brandy says, my first concert was Kiss when I was 20-something. I took my kids to see Imagine Dragons, Roger Waters, and someone else I can't remember now. Wow. Kiss. I never got to see Kiss live, which I was always disappointed by that. But I loved their music, but I just never got to see them live. And Sylvia says, I'm American and I love Loverboy, but I never got to see them. God, I saw them so many times, and like, we saw them so many times that they recognized us when they saw us, which was sad because it was like me and 3 other girls, and we would just get in a car and go. We were probably like 16, 17, and we would just get in the car and go. And I remember there was a concert in Toledo, and we stayed with my grandmother, overnight with my grandmother, so that we could go to this concert. And because my mom was like, you're not driving back that late at night. And so we were like, okay, we'll stay with grandma. And my uncle was actually a police officer in Toledo, and when he'd do off-duty stuff, he would do concerts off-duty, and so we always got into places that we probably shouldn't have got that close to, and at one of those times, we were on the other side of a fence from them, and they talked to us, and it was really fun, and of course, 4 16-year-old girls are all going, oh, I'm never going to wash my hand again, kind of thing. It was really funny. But I kind of miss those concert going days, but now I'm so noise sensitive and stuff that I just think I don't even really enjoy myself at a concert that much because it's just so loud now. Sometimes it makes me sad that I like to do the calmer things now. But I do like to talk about the old stuff. Okay, Sandy is saying, what about Bob, Bill Murray, and Richard Dreyfuss? I think I do remember that now. Was that from like the 90s? Like mid to late 90s? I'm trying to get through your comments here, not ignoring you. Oh my goodness, Sandra. Some of y'all are making me so jealous. Sandra's first concert was U2 in a small school-type hall before they got really famous. That is amazing. Amazing. There is this rumor going around the Raleigh-Durham area, and I don't know if Jeremy's still on, if he's heard it too. But for a while there was this rumor going around that before Taylor Swift got famous, she performed for a homecoming at like Enloe High School or something like that, and everybody's like, no, that never happened. But then there's some people who have posted some pictures on the internet, somebody that looks quite like her performing at a homecoming, so or a prom or something like that. So who knows if that's true, but I just think it's funny when those rumors start, everybody's like, ooh. All right. So we've talked about watching silly movies to kind of help us get through, and it sounds like we all have enough love of music that maybe you can just like pick out some of your favorite music and just kind of dance around your house to some of your favorite music. Let's see. Oh, wow. Miss Krabs says, Day on the Green 2, Journey, Black Sabbath, Cheap Trick, Molly Hatchet, Shakin' Street, 415. Originally, Angel City was scheduled to open the show, but was replaced by Shakin' Street. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's amazing. And Gina says, it's not sad. It's the best times and memories. It's true. It's true. Video 1000 Nights is saying, did Billy Squier open for Def Leppard? I have seen Billy Squier in concert, but I cannot remember if it was an opening for Def Leppard or not. It would depend which year probably which concert time that I saw them. I would think if it was during their Photograph tour thing, that it might have been Billy Squier that opened for them. The time frame is right. And Sandy M says, I'm now crowd sensitive and also find it a bit sad. Yeah, it's just... Let's see. Oh, wow, Miss Crab just went to see Green Day last month with American Idiot and Dookie. Vegana says, please do your hair like Heat Miser. Orange and red, should I? Yeah, maybe. That could be fun. Something to do for the new year. A little different, Monique says, I was in my 50s when I saw my first concert. A group was doing ABBA covers and they actually looked a lot like the originals. Wow, that's fun though. Oh my God, I love cover bands sometimes. They're really, really good. Apple says, I danced to Blue Rodeo today. I think there's something therapeutical. I'm having hard word night. I think I'm close though. Therapeutic. There we go. I knew it would come to me. There is something just super therapeutic about turning on the music and just kind of letting it flow over you and just kind of, depending what you want, either energize you or just calm you. You know, music can do so many things for us. It's such a wonderful, wonderful tool to have in your arsenal. It can get you motivated. Like if you want to walk a little faster, you can listen to something that has a little bit, more of a beat. A lot of times when I'm trying to like clean up or do something out in the yard and stuff, I'll listen to techno music because it's just the beat of the techno music just makes me move a little bit faster. And then, sometimes I listen to classical music because I do like classical music. And if I'm doing something that I'm having a hard time doing in complete silence, because most of the time I like to work in complete silence, but if it's something that I'm just, my head's not, like I can't focus it in, I will turn on classical music and listen to that in the background and my brain will focus. And I've been like that ever since I was a kid. Like when I would do homework, sometimes I would be having a hard time doing homework and my mom would put on classical music and shut the door, and with it, in just a few minutes, I'd be like, bam, on it. And I could just focus and do it. It was really, really, really good. And so, use that tool to help you cope or do something that you don't want to do. Maybe it'll give you strength if you listen to something like is a song that kind of gives you power, something that you've always been like, yeah, I can. And it kind of gives you just some power to do stuff. Kathy listens to music before every live she does. That is her way of just getting in the zone for what she's going to do, she will like put on, like, to me, I'm like, why do you have to listen to that so loud? But she'll just put on some stuff that she really, really likes. Usually it's RuPaul. There's a few RuPaul songs that she just resonates with. And so she will put those on. She will put them on loudly. She will sing. She will just like be coming around, and she'll get all her stuff in ready, and she'll put her stuff on the counter, and she'll be getting her recipe set out. She'll be doing all the stuff, and she'll just be singing away. And then just before she goes live, she'll tell Alexa to stop the music, and then instantly she goes, how's everybody doing? Like, I mean, it's that close to when she starts talking to you. So I'm surprised sometimes that you don't catch the tail end of some of that when she does that. Let's see. And Miss Krabs says I would look amazing in orange and red. Eh, maybe. My mom has red hair, so it's not that far off. Oh, and Adriana says I remember the mosh pits. Luckily, I never got into those when I was a teenager or, you know, in my young 20s or anything like that. However, as an adult, it was probably mid-30s, low to mid-30s. The neighbor kid wanted to go to a concert where there was going to be a mosh pit. And she wasn't really old enough to go to a concert by herself yet. It was a 311 concert. Totally not in my wheelhouse. Didn't know anything about their music or anything like that. And they were like, if you go with her, she can go. And I was like, okay. And they were like, we're not going anywhere near that place. And in my mind, I was like, it's a concert. How bad can it be? The kids get down on the floor. They push themselves up front. You know, how bad can it be? I didn't realize they were going to tossing each other around down there, right? So I was like, don't get hurt. Don't get hurt. It was totally out of my element for that thing. And I just remember she was having such a good time and having such a good time. And there were a lot of younger people down there, right? And it was... They were excited, and then sometimes you would see complete fear on their faces, like, oh my God, they're going to drop me kind of thing. So it was probably interesting experience for me to go to something like that. Apple says my dog gets excited when I have dance parties. That's funny. And Brandy says dancing without a care is a dopamine hit like no other. It is, right? I mean, it can give you that same kind of rush that you got from, you know, eating something that you probably don't eat anymore. I know that a lot of times I'll catch myself kind of, and I'm not much of a dancer these days, but I'll catch myself certain things kind of skipping across the floor in the living room when I'm trying to do some cleaning and stuff if the music's going. And Sandra says, wow, it seems like there's some great music taste here as well as food. And Vegan 1000 Nights, Video 1000 Nights, maybe you need to change it to Vegan 1000 Nights. Video 1000 Nights says, who is going to the Paul McCartney free concert for veganism? I don't know anything about this concert. And where is this going to be held at? Because this is very interesting. And Lisa says, I'm always amazed when I hear a song I haven't heard in 20 plus years and I still know every word and can sing along. Isn't that amazing when that happens? Because I'm always like, there's no way I can remember the words of a song from blah, blah, blah. But I'll hear it, and man, it just comes right back to you just like that. You're in the car, bobbing your head, and all the people going past you are going, wow, that person is into that song. And Gina says that Spotify has great walking playlists. That's awesome. And Brandy says, I listened to Michael, Madonna, and Cindy while doing homework as a kid. I would try, and it was the weirdest thing, though, with that stuff. I don't know if it was because it had words, and the way my brain works. If I'm trying to focus on something, and then there's something with words, it'll take me away. And I think you guys have heard me talk about that before. When Kathy is like doing stuff, she'll talk to herself out loud and things like that. Or she'll start humming. She'll start humming a song. Well, immediately, no matter what I'm doing or what I'm concentrating on, my brain goes bloop, wanting to figure out what she's humming. And then I will just focus on that, trying to figure out what she's humming. So I could never do homework with things with words because I would drift to what the words were in the song. Brandy says, I used to fall asleep to Metallica in the background. Little Sandman going on. And Tanya says, yeah, my music range is very wide too. Classic to hard to emo to pop to bluegrass to alternative, but no country. Never liked it unless you include Shania, but she's from my hometown, so I love her. I love Shania Twain too. There was a time in my life where I listened to a lot of country music. It was during the Brooks and Dunn, Boot Scoot Boogie, Country Club, Alan Jackson, like time frame. It was very short-lived, I guess. Yeah, maybe not so short-lived. I guess it was probably a good 5 or 6 years. But I was all about that stuff. And then I kind of got away from it and I was just like, everything is about people cheating and all that. But there's that one song. Who does that song about the cheating where they scratch their name in the side of the car and they take the knife to the truck seats and all that stuff? Now, that song is funny. I like that one. And Apple was saying, I was a hospice chaplain, and the knowledge memory of songs is one of the last faculties to go. Music is profound. It is. And like my grandmother had Alzheimer's. I don't know if I've ever really talked much about that with you guys, but my grandmother had Alzheimer's really bad. She was in a home. And it was really hard for my mom to put her in a home. She felt really guilty about it. But my mom was making herself sick trying to take care of her. And so her doctor said, look, you're an only child. You don't have anyone else to help you with this. You know, you need to get some in-home care or you need to move her to a home. And so we talked about it. And my mom she was like, well, let's try to get somebody to stay with her. That did not work. My grandmother did not want anybody in the house. She would like scream and holler and try to call 911 and say that somebody was in her house. So we ended up having to put her in a home. And it was a great place. We were really nice. And through all that, she barely remembered who. There were times when she didn't know who I was at all. There were times when she didn't really know who my mom was. She always knew who my Aunt Norma was. Always. But they grew up together, which, you know, they had known each other since they were 2 or 3 years old. And they had always known each other. So no matter what happened, she always knew who my Aunt Norma was. So it was weird. But my grandmother, she couldn't remember anything. Like most of the time, she thought she was in Las Vegas and was always going to the nurse's desk to get change for the slot machine. That was her happy place. And so, you know, I didn't feel so bad about her being there. If she thought she was in Vegas, she was in her happy place. So, okay, that's good for me. But she never, ever forgot how to sing in Polish. She never forgot any of the polkas because she used to be a dancer when she was younger. My grandfather and her actually would go to polka contests and stuff. And she always remembered how to dance. No matter how bad she got, she always remembered how to dance. And we would take her to some of the church functions and festivals and stuff where they had big polka parties so that she could dance and stuff. And she never forgot how to dance. all the way to the last day, she knew how to dance. And she knew how to sing in Polish, which was amazing to me because some days she didn't even know what day it was. Some days I don't even think she really knew who she was, but she never, the music always stayed with her, the rhythms and the music and things. So it was just very amazing, and it is very, very profound. Let's see. Gina says, I used to think that Led Zeppelin was hard rock, and now I love them, right? And Serenity says, I listen to Meghan Trainor when I do housework because not only am I about the bass, but if I were you, I'd want to be me too. Makes me feel like I am enough. Yes, like it's one of those songs, right? It's just one of those songs that just kind of like you feel it, right? And Gina was saying Parkinson patients' tremors stop when they are couple dancing, right? See, it's just that there's this magic about music, and it's fascinating to me. It's just absolutely fascinating to me. And having actually experienced that in my own life with my grandmother, it's just like, yeah, you just cannot deny it, right? Okay, I get the joke. Yay! But actually, this weekend when we were at the Plant Pure Pod thing, one of the guys brought us discs for, it was like a veganism disc that they handed out actually at Paul McCartney concerts, that he had actually worked the concert for PETA at one of Paul McCartney's concerts that happened here in North Carolina, and they gave him a whole stack of these, and he found them at the house, and he was like, you know what, I'm going to take these and bring these for everybody so that they can take them and maybe give them to somebody else that could use that information. So that was really cool. All right. Video 1000 Nights saw Metallica right after surgery. Oh, that had to be painful. You can't just kind of hop around a lot with them. I actually like Metallica. It's pretty, to me, pretty hard rock, right? But the lead singer for that band has an amazing range and an amazing voice. Just like, I really like some. I like Enter the Sandman, and there's a couple other songs that I like of theirs too. And Monique says, country all the way for me. Carrie Underwood, that's the one. Yeah, I couldn't remember her name, but that truck song to me is just, it's so funny. And yeah, actually, in my last relationship, when we broke up, that was one of the songs that I would get in my car and I would just blast. I was just like, ugh. And it was just one of those songs that just kind of like gave me that little bit of extra energy and power that I needed to get through the day. And Sylvia says, I went through a country phase. It was a thing in the 90s. Loved Brooks and Dunn, George Strait, Post Malone, has some good country stuff recently. Yeah, Brooks and Dunn was fun to me. Alan Jackson was fun to me. Trying to remember what McCoy, I can't remember his first name, but his last name was McCoy. He actually was Indian. And he had a country song that did kind of good. He had an album that did kind of good, and I cannot remember his first name, but I'm pretty sure his last name was McCoy. Had a friend who lived outside of Wilson, North Carolina, whose husband was actually one of his sound guys, and they traveled with him. So we actually got to meet him in Tennessee, actually, when we went to visit them and go to one of the concerts that he was performing at. And he was really, really good, and I liked him. There was something about him, meeting him. People might understand what I'm trying to get at, and I don't want to make this weird or anything, but talking to him and meeting him, he didn't seem like a normal country guy of that time period, right? He seemed a little bit more progressive kind of guy. I don't know. It was just weird that, like, I just kind of felt like he put on the cowboy hat and stuff, and that was kind of his costume, right? And he definitely was. I'm not sure if he was half American Indian or if he was all American Indian, but he definitely was Indian, and he was a beautiful man, beautiful bone structure, and just the kindest, nicest person to just sit and have a conversation with. Yeah, Video 1000 Nights, Before He Cheats. That's the one. And I would listen to that thing over and over and over again in the car. Let's see. Getting down. Sorry, I'm just going through the notes. Not that great at talking and reading when it gets this late at night, so I do kind of want to circle back. I know we've been talking about a lot of like stuff out, but there's been a reason for some of the conversation that we've had tonight, right? We're talking about things that make us happy, that bring us joy, things that we can use in our little toolbox to help us cope with things or to help us get ready for something. Watching movies that we really like over and over again, watching silly stuff to just that our minds don't have to work so hard for, where we don't have to figure out a mystery, where we just kind of let things play out in front of us in a nice calming way. Yes, Brandy, that is Jason McCoy. That is the one. He was a very, very beautiful person, and just lovely. But use these tools, right? Use these tools to help you with the holidays coming up. So if you're starting to feel a little like, I just kind of feel a little down, or I could use a little pick-me-up, put on a favorite song. Dance around your living room. Feel like a kid. Do the things you would do when you were a teenager, like to make yourself just kind of like get going. And, you know, those times when you'd shut the bedroom door and you'd sing your heart out in your bedroom, or you dance around and jump on the bed. You know, go back to those times. Go back to those feelings, right? To help you cope with something that might be a little too hard, a little stressful for you. Like, prepare yourself. Find that song that you can play in the car on the way to the in-laws' house that just makes you just, I can deal with anything they throw at me today very calmly, very easily. You know, just get the thing that just gets you going. Find that thing that makes you get up off the couch and want to go walk around the block. Find that thing that makes you want to hit the treadmill or the bike or whatever. Find that song that makes you have that right rhythm that you need to do what you need to do for the day. I mean, all these things are important, especially coming up on these holidays. And again, like, not everybody enjoys holidays. A lot of times these are really hard times for people. And I want you to know that this community is here for you. And as I said earlier, we are going to be doing things. We're going to have some lives that you can participate in, that you can just feel like you're having a meal with us. Like, we're going to sit right there. We're going to put the camera right there so that you're going to be sitting with us while we're having that meal. And you can interact with us and talk to us, and we'll be showing you the kinds of things that we're getting at the vegan buffets, and what they look like and what the different restaurants have, and just, being company for each other, and just, having conversation, being good community. And I think it's really important, especially through the holidays, that we all have a really good community that we can lean on when we need help. Let's see. Oh, and Tanya, why are you doing this to me tonight? Oh. Tanya says, speaking of fun music, remember Aqua? Oh my God. Barbie Girl. Barbie Girl is on this phone right now because our nephew had never heard the Barbie Girl song. And he loves the Vocaloid stuff, and he makes Vocaloid songs and stuff like that, like on his computer. And he was playing one for me, and I was listening to the beat and everything like that, and I was like, that sounds like Barbie Girl. I'm like, it reminds me a lot of like this group Aqua. And he was like, I've never heard of that. And so I actually downloaded it and played it for him, and he thought it was pretty fun. I see, and Gina says, next week, Christmas music on the radio, Sinatra, Bing Crosby, and she said, Carrie Underwood has a beautiful rendition of Do You Hear What I Hear? That's awesome. I like Christmas music. I don't love Christmas music. I don't know why. There's only a few songs that I really kind of like for Christmas. And I'm like, all the jokes with the Mariah Carey thing happening with that song. I just, every time I see those memes and stuff, I just start laughing because, that's kind of what I think. Yeah. Actually, nope. Mineth won. It is Neil McCoy, not Jason McCoy. It is Neil McCoy. I do remember that now because I always thought, I would always look at him and think, such an odd name for him because he didn't seem like a Neil. But it is Neil McCoy. Let's see. And Apple says, I couldn't talk and read at any time of the day. Multitasking is a myth. It's Kathy amazes me sometimes how she can do two. When she's in the zone and she's working, today I told her, I said, you're like Wonder Woman. You have this ability that normal people don't have. So she can be listening to something on YouTube, writing a newsletter, and just going to town back and forth between the two and just doing all this stuff and all these tasks. To do a newsletter, it takes 20 tasks to do a newsletter. And we try to do these every day, right? And she's teaching me how to do it, and I'm very slow at it. And I know it's frustrating for her, but she goes on autopilot with this stuff. And she'll be in a YouTube meeting, or a meeting on Zoom, talking to somebody, doing a newsletter, all this stuff. But if I say, hey, can I? Her head explodes. It completely explodes because she can do those two things simultaneously. But if you add that third in there, it's like juggling. She drops all the balls because the third one coming in messes her up. And I know this, and I try not to bother her with stuff because I know this is happening. And I don't know. You get busy and you're doing something. I look over there and I don't think she's doing two things, right? And so I'll say something. And then every time she's actually doing two things, and then I mess everything up. But I'm trying to do better. But I just think it's amazing because I can't do that. She can have the TV going and she can be writing a book. I can't do that. Sometimes she'll be turning things on for background music, right? Or for or Just like turn the TV on to like Harry Potter or something that we know that can just be going in the background, and we'll be doing other stuff like working on the house or cleaning something. As soon as that thing comes on, I'm fine for a few minutes, and then I get, oh. And the next thing you know, I'm sitting right in front of the TV just like this. It's like a little kid right in front of the TV, just like watching the TV. And then I can't get anything else done because now I'm like, that's all I can see. So a lot of times I have to take myself downstairs into one of the other rooms and just sit in silence to do my part of the work because I can't multitask like that, which is weird. And I never really thought about it much. But because I felt like I multitasked at my job, but then maybe I didn't, because when I was doing tech support stuff, I was focusing on one incident at a time. And, my brain, I kind of like a little ADHD going on where I get distracted, or I call it getting bored with whatever I'm working on, but it's more of a distraction. And what would happen is about the time that my mind was ready to go on to something else, another ticket would come in and it would take my attention. And so I could go work on that ticket for a little bit, but I was only working on one ticket at a time, right? It was just maybe I had 5 tickets open total, but I was only working on one at a time. So when I started trying to multitask and stuff now, working with Kathy, and I found out I'm not good at that. Like, if I go sit in a quiet room, I can do 2 things at a time, but I can't with any sound or any kind of anything that could distract me. I am not good. Y'all, she is right here. And I don't know if she's going to come up or not. Hey, want to come up here? Come here. No, you just wakey. Do you want to come up? Nope, you want to eat brother's food. Okay. She does not want to come up. Sorry. You guys are going to get to see her at some point. I promise. All right. And Apple says, tapping into my childlike joy is why I make art. I think it's important. I think it's important that we find something that we can tap into that makes us happy, that makes us feel young. That's something that, we can feel those feels from when we felt good, from fun things that we did when we were younger. Like, I like to go ride bicycles because when I was a kid, I loved to go ride my bicycle. I loved the way the wind feels against my face, and just like, I'll go ride a bicycle just because it's fun to me. And then I feel like a little kid on my bicycle. And I think it's important too that, we don't always take ourselves so seriously. Like, have you ever met some people that are just like, they're an adult, they do adult things, and it's all about adult business. Like, no, I don't do those childlike things anymore because I'm an adult. And I think to myself, you got to do something for fun. Like, what do you find fun if you only do adult things? Like, what are fun adult things? Because I would like to know what fun adult things are, because apparently Kathy and I can't do any adult things and find it fun. That's why we go to Disney. That's why we go to Universal. I mean, it's just those places exhilarate us. And not just from crazy rides and things like that. Like, most of the time, we don't even go on crazy rides. Kathy won't go near a roller coaster. I barely will. I only do when Helene's with me, because Helene won't let me go. Helene's been on them, and she won't put me on anything that she knows would freak me out. So, but yeah, I mean, you got to find that thing. You got to find something that you can put in your toolbox, that when you're just having that day, that you're just like, oh, I need to calm myself down, or I need to prepare for this, or I really wish that I had the energy to go get on the bike or get on the treadmill. Find that song, find that feeling and just play it loud, do it. Jill is here. Hello, Jill. Good to see you. And Brandy said, Brandy's saying it like kind of what I'm trying to say, y'all, and this is the truth. Spend the holidays with the people that lift you, that fill your cup, right? And that's, I think that's kind of the family you make, right? People always talk about there's your family, and then there's the family you choose. For a lot of people, those are one and the same, right? But there are some people out there that have just like, they have a hard time with their family, and so they've made their own family, and they do stuff with, their chosen family. And there are a lot of families out there that are, full of people who aren't like blood relatives. In fact, when I was a kid, I had all these aunts and uncles on my mom's side, on the Polish side of the family. And I was like, wow, I've got so many aunts and uncles on this side of the family. And I knew them nothing different than aunts and uncles. And it wasn't until I was much older that I understood that, the people that I called my cousins on that side of the family weren't necessarily my blood cousins, right? They were cousins by marriage or something like that. Like a lot of the people that were my aunts and uncles weren't blood relatives. They were my grandmother's sister-in-law's sister kind of thing, right? But I grew up, they were our chosen family, and I grew up with them as my aunts and uncles. And I wouldn't trade that for the world, because they were just a very rowdy, fun bunch. Lots of highs going on. I love it when you guys talk to each other. You know that. So Brandy says that Neil McCoy is a Filipino-Irish American. I can see that now, yeah. I thought he was Indian. But I can see now, yeah, just thinking back. I could see that now. But I thought he was Indian and Irish instead of Filipino and Irish. But that's awesome. I just knew that he wasn't like the normal country folks of the time. And he was different, and his music was great. Tanya says she's multitasking with Kathy chatting on Messenger. And Serenity says, my boss asked me to block off time for a project, and I say why. I can do while doing everything else. That's how my brain works. I think everybody's brain works different, and once you know how your brain works, once you actually take the time to figure that out, how your brain works, it's kind of magical. Like, I've had so many discoveries in just the past couple months. I thought my brain worked one way, and I'm finding out now that it doesn't, and that it works a different way. And now I'm learning to coordinate my brain with Kathy's brain, and so that we can make a system and a team for working all the things that need done in the most efficient way. And it's hard because I came into it thinking, oh yeah, I'm just gonna blah blah blah, just like I've always done, and it's just gonna be I'm doing this, and it doesn't always work that way. Like, I'm learning a lot of new stuff. I mean, I've helped Kathy with her stuff whenever she's asked me to do stuff, and I've done video editing, and I've set up cameras and lights, and I've done a lot of hardware type stuff, but I never created newsletters. I've never done all the intricate behind the scenes stuff. I've never set up the lives. I've never scheduled things on YouTube or anything like that. And all of them, there's all these different tools that you use, and trying to remember all these tools and everything. And so I've actually started a notebook where I write things down, because it's a lot. It's a lot. And honestly, y'all, between you and me, I don't know how she did it without any help. I just really don't. I don't know how she hasn't had a nervous breakdown, because It's a lot. It is a lot of work to do on a daily basis. And I understand, like, you know, I always thought that she worked all those long hours because that was her choice, but it wasn't. It's because she has to. It's because she didn't have anybody else helping her, and like there's like hours of work to do on a daily basis. So I'm hoping that the more I learn, the faster I can learn it, the more I can help with that and give her time to be creative and do the things that she likes to do. So that's the goal. All right, Gina, it's good to see you. Good night. I know the rest of you are probably like, all right, we've been here for 2 hours. Let's start wrapping this thing up. All right. And Sandy says, I'm really bad at sitting still and watching TV. I know, it's just like, I don't know why, but I can't, like, I get so into it. Even if it's something that I've seen a bazillion times, y'all, I still get, let me try something. I don't know if this is going to work or not. I don't know if I have enough cord. Come here. Come here, baby. I'm trying to see if I can get the camera to catch her, but where she's at, I can't get this camera close enough. Sorry. Thought I might be able to. She's laying right around the corner, and I can't get her. All right. Sorry, guys. I was hoping, because she's looking so cute. Yeah, everybody's wanting to see the mystery cat. She is adorable. All right. Let's see. And Monique says, I'm serious on the outside and sometimes fun on the inside. That's awesome. And Brandy, this is a great idea, and I actually just got this thing so I can do this very thing. She's saying record Kathy or ask Kathy to record what she does. Create a playbook. Doesn't take much more effort. That way you know exactly how she does it. And thing is, Kathy goes really fast. And so what I've gotten is this little thing that records notes. I don't know, and it uses AI to write them up for me. And so I'm going to see how that goes. When she's telling me how to do something, it'll capture everything that she's telling me, and then it will, the AI part of it will write up the notes for me, and I can say, like, you know, put this in order of how I need to do this how I need to do this task, how I need to do this task, kind of thing, and it will do that for me. And that's what it's supposed to do. That's what it's built to do. I have not tried it yet. I will let you know if it works. Apple says the social media biz is a hustle. It really is so much. There's so much more to it than you ever would really think. I mean, I knew she worked a lot, and I knew she worked on a lot of stuff. But now that I see everything, the behind the scenes, the stuff that she shielded me from before, now it's like, wow, how did you crank out books while you're doing all this other stuff, right? So that's the plan. We're getting the plan together of how everything's going to work smoothly, what our systems are going to be, and I think it's going to be great. I think everything's going to be fine and dandy. So I hope everyone, almost forgot. Kathy got me new toys for our road trips. And you remember I was talking about my Chihuahua toys? She got me new Chihuahua toys. And they're very cool. So these are, when I talk about my Chihuahua choo-choos, these are my jewelry that when I need something to play with in the car while I'm driving, or if I need something to, like, gnaw on in the car, like, because I have a thing where it's like I need to have a sucker, or I need to have something like it's like, or I'll start chewing my nails, right? I'll start chewing my nails while I'm driving. And I love to drive, and it's not that I'm like, I don't know, my mind will start going somewhere else or something, and I'll just start thinking stuff and get nervous or whatever, or just, it's my tism. And I like to chew these things. And it was amazing that we found, this was the original one that we found like this in Asheville. So helpful to have this. And these are the new ones that, the new style that she found for me as well. They're made out of food grade silicone, so they're not dangerous for me or anything. And she talks about my little string that I play with, and they have a little string on them, and I'll just sit there and play with the string the whole time that I'm driving and messing around. But it really helps me. It helps me stay focused on the road, and just like, it also keeps me from wanting to snack constantly on the road, because I found that for as much as I love to drive, I like to be constantly either drinking something or eating something at the same time. And I don't know, maybe it's from because I used to smoke, and I always had, I always had a cigarette when I was driving. I haven't done that in probably 18, 19 years, maybe 20 years now that I have smoked. But I still have that kind of sensation that I want something while I'm driving, like to replace what that cigarette used to do. And these do it. These do it for me. They call them jewelry, is what I have been told is what they call them. They're sensory chew toys for kids and toddlers and teething babies. So these are my teething baby toys, but they work for me, and I love them, and I think they're great. Are you and Kathy on Blue Sky social media app? I just joined yesterday. I believe that Kathy is. I have not done that yet. I know it's someplace I probably should go check out. All right. And Brandy says, I am a nail biter as well, so I wear fake ones, which I won't chew. I've tried everything with the nail thing. Like when I was a kid, the doctor was like, oh, you just put this hot pepper stuff on her nails and she won't bite them anymore. And when I was a kid, like I had no problem with spicy things. And then they would put the hot Tabasco-y type stuff on my fingers, and I would go and just start sucking on them. My mom was like, this is so useless. And then I tried the fake nails, and that was a disaster. So, I've just given up the fact that I will probably never have beautiful nails, and I'm okay with that now. I'm in my 50s. I'm almost 60. Who cares, right? Am I happy? That's it. Tanya's going to bed. Good night, Tanya. It was good seeing you. And Brandy says, why do kids get all the cool toys, right? I mean, come on. But these are great. We found them at Miss Clutterbuck's Neurodiverse Universe in Asheville, North Carolina. And then Kathy was able to find these online for me recently. And so she got me some more as a little present. So... And Brandy says, oh, the hot pepper stuff. Mom had some sour crap like nail polish that was nasty. Now, see, that might have turned me off a little bit if it was like nail polish, because that stuff stinks. So, yeah, guys, let's, I hope that everybody is going to have a great, great week. Think about something that you want to work on this week. Last week, I worked on going to a little bit earlier bedtime. And I did really good, I would say 5 out of 7 days. There were a couple days where I went to bed really, really late. But for the most part, I did well. And I had an accountability buddy, and that really helped me to do that. Same thing with food. I had an accountability buddy this week with my food. And so my goal was to just be as close as I could to McDougal for at least 2 of my meals a day. And I actually did really well on that. I did eat out a lot this week because we were very social, but I tried to make all the best decisions when I did it. I tried to stay away from like the really bad fried foods and things like that. I tried to stick with bowls and Asian foods. I think I had home-style tofu twice this week. So, I mean, we all do the best we can, and, you know, when we have one of those situations where we're out and about and we go and we grab something to eat, don't beat yourself up. Like if you have some oil, don't beat yourself up over it. You have your next meal to do better. And that's kind of what I just, you know, I'm trying to get back on everything after all the stress that we've been out under and everything. And so I'm just right now, I'm trying to make my next meal better every time. Tonight I did great. Tonight I had leftover first seed foods, Indian food over rice. It was delicious, made me very happy. And I feel like one step at a time, right? And I did really good last week. And this week I'm going to do it again. And I hope that my accountability partner will join me on this journey again, and that we will keep track for each other and just check in and see what we're doing and see how things go. And so pick something for you that you want to work on this week and then see how it goes and just take baby steps. And you don't have to be perfect. Just get close. Close is good. Perfect comes later at some point. Maybe. I don't know if I believe in perfect even. I think that if you just take baby steps, you're going to get where you need to go. So I am getting tired and I am starting to blah, 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 blah. So I am going to let you guys go because here I am rambling about going to bed early. And now it's 11 o'clock here. So I do want to get in bed, definitely before midnight. So I am going to say good night. And thank you for coming. I love everybody. And I hope that you'll keep an eye out for us talking about the stuff next week that we're doing at all of our Thanksgiving functions. And I will try to get a schedule up on Heartbeat at least about when we're going to be doing that. And so next Monday night is tentative for 9 o'clock. I'm thinking we're going to be home by 9 o'clock, but if something happens, maybe just check your email for me sending out an announcement about Monday night. We may just do a little bit of that at the function. We may just kind of do a combo of the function and Motivate Your Monday. So we'll have to see like how things are going. So love you guys. Thanks for coming. Everybody have a great night. And I hope to see you really, really